Thanks again for staying with us. Of course, it's also another countdown to the Children Day program, Peperepe Samalata. That's on May 27. You know the way it is. Every May 27, we bring all the children together, not just the children. We ensure that their parents come with them. We ensure that their worlds, their guardians actually come with them to have a feast, so to speak. Because children, a society that doesn't give attention to children and youths really can't develop. It means there is no future whatsoever for that country. And that is why there's been serious reactions over the senseless killings taking place in some parts of the country. Just yesterday came in the report of armed bandits killing 45 people. We're not talking about properties and other things that were destroyed in the process. That's one. And then, of course, the army said that they intercepted a convoy. Okay, the army convoy intercepted some armed bandits. And I'm just praying that these armed bandits were those who participated in the killing of 45 people in Kaduna State. So today on the program, we're focusing on can protest over this incessant killings. Pastor Phil Aroje is the Edo State Chairman, Youth Wing of CAN, as well as the Youth Wing of PFN. He was here with me last week to talk about this protest called by CAN. And today we're here to do a follow-up on that interview to assess where we are with it, and we're driving home the right message to the appropriate authorities to take action. I also have with me in the studio Bishop Austin Igbasa, a regular on our show, public affairs commentator, political commentator. Bishop Austin Igbasa, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Reverend Phil Aroje, many thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's start from the very beginning, which is perhaps not very beginning, where we left off last time we were here. Where are we at? Because I remember you said specifically that even though the protest was called by CAN, not many CAN members, so to speak, participated, and that you were expecting a better participation in terms of mobilization. But that doesn't seem to be the case yesterday.
Yes, thank you very much. Locally in Edo State, that's not the case. CAN at the national level has called for the strike, the protest, and it's to be sustained. Even if I do not have the mandate to speak for CAN in Edo State, but I know what is happening because I'm part and parcel of the system. Within the week, the executive arm of CAN in Edo State met, and a decision is taken towards that protest. So it's on course.
Okay.
It's being worked on. The protest has not been called off, and the day is coming. We're working on it so that when it comes, it will come really big. That's what is going to happen. Because the importance of this protest cannot be overemphasized. It's not until they kill all of us before Nigerians begin to rise up. Last week I told you, according to Vanguard, by the end of March, 1,531 Nigerians had been killed across the nation. And I told you I was going to give you an update. But I just brought an update for only the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt state of Benue, Taraba, Southern Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Kwara states. From January 1st to April 29th, 911 persons were killed.
That's close to 1,000 as well.
Yes, 911. This information is from this day newspaper. 911 persons were killed from these 4-5 states within 4 months. And amongst them, one of the recent one was 19 worshippers, 2 reverend fathers, 1 catechist, and then 16 other persons who were killed, not in the farm, not with herdsmen, they were killed in the church. That's unacceptable. And I do not understand why some Nigerians find it difficult to understand what some of us are saying. If I come here in the studio and I say, Mr. Sonny Duke, I went through some roads around Benin City yesterday, and those roads are fixed, and the governor is doing very well. They applaud me. I see the projects going on, they applaud me. I see what is happening, they applaud me. But when it comes to the issue of what is happening at the federal level, and we want to talk about it in Edo State here, some people brand us politicians and brand us opposition and say we are against the federal government. This is the reality. People are dying. These 911 persons that have died only within Middle Belt is not part of the 45 we're talking about now. That just happened a few days
Isn't
ago.
that figure contestable against the background? It's not
No,
coming
this
from
is-
NEMA, it's not coming from the police, it's not coming from security.
Let them
agents.
bring their figures. You can't contest it because on January 1, 73 persons died in Benue, and then on January 11, they were given mass burial. It was shown to the whole world. You just mentioned something while we were doing the super review. President Trump made a statement that Nigerian government should endeavor to stop the killing of Nigerian Christians. And that in the international media, they didn't give it enough coverage. I think that statement came from.
Yeah.
They didn't give it enough coverage.
It's on Fox News.
Yes, they didn't give it. Why should they not? So if the government says that the figures that the media is bringing out, let the government bring their own figures. Let them bring their figures. The protest called by CAN is on course. It's holding across the nation bit by bit. You know there's a statement made a few days ago by one of our senior fathers, Papa E. Adeboye, Daddy Gio, who came and said that the 2019 election may not hold because of the killings in the country. It's not a prophecy. He said that statement came from the place of his thought, reasoning, and meditation. Because if the killings continue, you can't hold the election. How can you hold it? Abdulsalam Abubakar, the former head of state who handed over to General Obasanjo, President Obasanjo in 1999, said that security of life is more important than politicking. That politicians should focus on how to stop the killings of Nigerians before thinking of the 2019 election. Lift our voices, fathers in faith, fathers in government, across the nation speaking. T.Y. Danjuma has spoken. How come that it's only a few persons that think that they are right, all Nigerians are wrong?
Okay, let me pause you there. Bishop Austin Igbasan, quickly, you follow this call for protest by CAN, as it were. Some say, the level of participation is a reflection of the lack of unity amongst the church. Is that correct?
I want to say, even if as a father in a family, you definitely have people who didn't agree with maybe the kind of father they have or the behavior of their father. But I think to some extent that the participation was low. And I think this kind of thing that is making CAN to protest is something that is all inclusive. I'm not sure that this is not on doctrinal issue. It's not on doctrine. It's not on, let all of us gather in one place, we want to hold it. Why did they not hold it in our own block? They didn't hold it in our own block. I think this issue is an issue that involves us. It's an issue that has national importance that all of us are supposed to come in. I see that we have not cooperated to the extent of coming together to stand like a force and a voice. And I will also say to you that some of the people that didn't cooperate, don't forget that also some people decided to be on the part of the government, even though if their junior brother is being killed. There are people, even within the Christian faith, that even though if their junior brother is killed, if they have passion or they are part of the government or they have an affiliate with the government, they will keep applauding. But I felt it is not, if it is something that has to do with doctrinal issue, I will say, everybody is holding, this is not my doctrine, this is not my doctrine. It is something that other states, that when this protest was called, you see a massive move of the people. We see a massive move of the people. We participated in our own ministry, according to the direction of CAN, that people should protest and push some placard in the front of their church. And of course, it's only somebody who might not like me in our own ministry that is maybe decided not to come to church that day. But the way I heard, but in all our branches, everybody stood outside and we raised up our hand. Not only protest, we protest to human being, we also protest to the highest authority in heaven. So I feel that as Christians, we need to come together. See, this issue is not a doctrinal issue, but because of also political difference of some persons within Christian community, they might felt that as it has not touched them. You know, I listened to the image makers of the president, especially Garba and Femi Adesina. I'm so disappointed in the Femi Adesina, who is a minister of one of the big Foursquare Gospel Church. I'm so disappointed.
Let's not get personal with him.
No, what I'm saying is that you see both of them said this thing is blown out of proportion. Of course, if Femi's wife is killed, or children, or that of Garba, Shehu, they will come out and say it's blown out of proportion. The value of one life. Can you, if a life is taken, can you bring it back? We saw people being murdered in church recently. Look at the one they did, and they, after killing church members, including choir, they wore their robe and they were dancing with gun, and they are rejoicing and excited. If the government is not doing something, the church is a voice. The church is a unique voice that can make the government to see reason, because the Bible says government shall be upon his shoulder. And I felt that any child of God within Christian community that decided, the Bible says in Jeremiah 48:10, he said, woe unto any man that do the work of God deceitfully, or withdraw his sword from shedding blood. That is when it is time to the church to move as a voice. Somebody decide to be bringing his hand back. Oh, because my brother is there, because I pray for ABCD. You can pray for anybody to become whoever. And when the person is sitting down and people are being maimed, I think it is time to tell such person that I'm not part of this, because all these people who are involved, God is going to judge those who preside over the killing of God's people, and also those who are interested, and all those who are fueling. Because the Bible says when God wants to fight, he said both the one that hopeth and the people that are giving assistance, they will all suffer for it. Because I foresee some persons that in their generation, we prayed in our church, we even pray that God should close the womb of some of those people, some of the generation of those who are doing this work, because it's beyond them. It's beyond those who are helping them. Because some people are interested, some people create the platform for the killing. Some people also commit the killing. Some people give arm for the killing. Some people encourage the killer. The Bible says Apostle Paul was not Saul was not part of those who stoned Stephen, but he was the one that was holding their garment. That is, he supplied the stone, and he helped the people say, okay, leave your shirt here. They kill the man for me. Nobody go steal your shirt. You will come back and collect it. You see me say, I like the way that they kill them. The Bible says when in the time of Herod, James, the brother of John, was killed. He said some people were clapping for the king. They were not the people that killed, but they were excited that James was killed. And the Bible said because of the excitement, because of the applaud, because of the political support that was given to the Herod, then he went further to say, let me continue the killing. Since people are excited, if everybody in Christian community can stand, there's no person presiding over this country that will not honor the church. If the church unanimously take a position, some people are ashamed now because they were the one that brought Buhari on board. Some pastors who they are not ashamed to participate in this program because they were the one that said it's the Alpha and Omega. Even when we stood our ground and said we knew this man, that as far as religion is concerned, you are going to see the pain. Today they are ashamed to come out. I'm not ashamed. I didn't vote for Buhari, and I say it everywhere. I didn't vote for him. Why? Because I knew what happened from 1966.
Okay, but in reality, there is no way you can tell who voted or who didn't vote by me saying it, except we're able to go back to the ballot papers.
It's not ballot. There are people that
have forensic analysis, you know. Yeah, but that's on the lighter side, Bishop Austin Igbasa. Yeah. Now, Reverend Phil, what you make of the seeming lack of unity in the vocalization of views, opinions on this issue? I mean, some time ago, we saw a group that described themselves as Northern Khan or Northern Christian something. Okay, they were in the Aso Rock,
yes,
to sort of support the president, and irrespective of some of the things that
they went there to scam the president. It was scammed. In fact, within that week.
But we saw that with this card.
Within that
bishops
week,
and I mean stuff
within
like
that week.
Yes.
There was also another scam which the presidency have defended, that an award, if you can remember. So it was two major scams. Those guys are not part of CAN. The only body recognized in this country as the body of Christ is the Christian Association of Nigeria. And currently, CAN is led by Ayokule Samson. He's the head of the Baptist Conference in Nigeria. CAN has 5 blocks. And those other guys who went there and even claim that they have 47,000 pastors from the north, they are not known, they are not in CAN. And they are not recognized. Nobody can do anything in the name of Christianity, do transaction with government in this country in the name of CAN if it does not belong to the main body. So in Edo State, we have one voice. Currently, like I mentioned, the CAN chairmanship is headed by Bishop Orina Moyoni de Kure. Last week they met. It is when CAN Edo State comes out, because last weekend it was not around. When they come out with this process, you're going to see what is going to happen. We've been holding protests. A month ago, we had a rally at the stadium, at the King Square, where we had prayers for Edo State. And then 3 weeks ago, we had a press conference at Bishop Kelly Pastoral Center. I'm sure your media has covered it, where we also spoke against this issue of human trafficking and all the rest. We are working. You see, Edo State is very vital for a few reasons. For example, the chairman of the Catholic Bishop Conference is the Archbishop of the Catholic Church in Edo State, in Benin City. He's the chairman of the Bishop Catholic Conference across the nation. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, the national president is in Edo State, Reverend Dr. Phyllis Omobude. He's there. So it's very vital. And when these fathers are there, and you have Bishop Kure who is leading CAN, there are some certain decisions he will not be able to take until he has consulted with his fathers. And he came back within this week, and consultation is ongoing. We're coming out strong. CAN in Edo State is coming out, and by the time we speak, if the call for protest will come, if by their wisdom they decide otherwise, we follow it. But those guys, coming back to your first question, are not members of CAN. They are not known. If you are not from the Pentecostal, you are not from the OAIC, that's the White Garment Churches. It's called OAIC, Organization of African Institute Churches. You are not from the Tekan Ekwa. You are not from the CCN, Christian Council of Nigeria, that's the Anglican Communion, the Baptists, the Methodists, and a few others. And you are not from the CSN, the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. You don't belong to CAN. Those guys don't. In fact, an analysis was done on the head of that team, Richard, and they discovered that this guy was even in the SCC some time ago. He's from River State. That guy who came to be representing Northern Christian is he's not even a Christian, talk of being a bishop. Okay. Anybody can go to a tailor and sew robe and then say he's a bishop. By the time the judgment of God will come, they know what they are doing. Sir, what is happening that Nigerians are playing with, and even some Christians who are not keeping quiet, by the time it comes to them, they will realize the implication of what they are doing. We cannot keep quiet and see Nigerians, whether Christians or Muslims, be slaughtered. What do you make of the people who scripted the dark sheep kidnapping? It was scripted. At least even if the government wants us to believe that nobody was involved in the kidnapping.
You were there when they were scripting?
It was scripted. Look,
were you there when they were scripting?
Let me tell you the second part of it. How do people go and negotiate for the release of 110 guests? And you couldn't negotiate for the release of one? They didn't script it properly. If people actually negotiated for their release, I'm sure what they did was to provoke Christians so that we can take up arms. We're not going to take up arms against the people, but we stand firm and defend ourselves. Never again will it happen and allow one Christian to be killed anywhere in this country. I speak for the Christian youth in Edo State. I speak for the Pentecostal Christians across this nation. I'm their National Public Secretary. Not one Christian again will be slaughtered or killed for nothing. We will defend ourselves. We don't have arms. We don't have, the president said that Fulani herdsmen do not carry AK-47. It took Donald Trump that. Even if the Dairos Ishaku of Taraba State has told him now that he lied because he carried AK-47. We don't have, but we defend ourselves. Our scripture is in defense. The Bible said in the scripture he was quoting was Isaiah chapter 31. He quoted verse 3. In verse 1, the Bible said that he said, woe to them that go to Egypt for help. He said, for the Egyptians are men, they are not God. The people who depend on horses because they are many. He said their horses are flesh, they are not spirit. He said when God will arise, that's verse 3. He said both he that is helped and he that helpeth with brother. So they should get ready. Okay. The wrath of God is coming.
Okay, let me pause it there for a moment. Bishop Austin Igbasan, would we be correct that what the Christian leaders are doing now are just being reactionary against the background of how long this has persisted, and then we didn't see much of vocalization as to condemning this act in strong terms at the onset?
You know, it has always, if you trace this history of Nigeria Christian or the Christian leadership, you see that we have always been at the receiving end. And we have been taught by the scripture that if you slap you by the right, give them the left. But that has been why Christian organization has always been at the receiving end. And it is a tactical order that, you know, when they strike, the Christian, they plan their network and strike. And by the time the Christians want to gather themselves, you see that is the time security or agencies will be all over the place.
Sure.
This one, that one, everybody should be calm. This one, that one. And it was a calculated attempt that the number of Christians would be the ones suffering casualty. So that when they strike, there is no intelligence gathering for their striking. No intelligence is gathered. It is going to be after the strike. We now deploy some people to stand, and it is being deployed. It's a tactical order to make sure that when the Christians want to say, why should you kill our people? Security organs are all over the place. We take AK-47, not even calming the situation, not comforting and consoling those people that have lost their person, but to also intimidate them with arms. So I think for people like us, we are waking up so late in the Christendom, because I told people long ago that Jesus that we are following is not a fool. If Jesus was a fool, he would have died. He would have not even completed 33.5 years of his ministry. That is why we begin to wonder, why is it that Jesus will preach in the synagogue and they are looking for him, they cannot understand it. He will be the preacher and he will leave the place, and yet they are looking for somebody to identify him, because he was a security conscious person and he's also very tactical. Sure. But I think that the church have not learned that from Jesus, that he took somebody from within the camp to come and meet them, not them even winning. Somebody who is covetous and greedy among the flock was the one that went to look for them. Not that they were able to break into the security network of Jesus. It was somebody who was greedy that had to go and meet them. For you to know that Jesus will sleep in the same place with his disciples. When they woke up, they will not see him. So I think the church is waking up so late. Do you believe that? I told people, I said, Jesus said, if they slap you this one, give you. I said, do you know what is on the other side of the slap? Where you say he should give you? He said, if they slap you here, give them the left hand side. Go and check your left hand side in the Bible. It's a hand of judgment. He said, if they slap me by the right, give you the left hand. Is a hand of judgment. Let nobody take. See, around us, I tell our church members, you don't wait for somebody to come and destroy you, and come and say somebody is going to protect you. God gives us brains so that we can give you rest. Sure. It is not somebody want to poo-poo. Now I say, God help me to poo-poo. I want to poo-poo. God, you will poo-poo for me. It is not the job of your God to do that, because he gives you brain. Those who are fighting the church, they are tactical. They are radical. Are we not having vice president as a pastor? What has he done? He came all the way and be talking about we are not thief, we are not this. Christians are being killed and murdered. He was there when they put Islamic this thing inside curriculum of school. What did he say? Until people like us rose up and will begin to, when they crash all subjects into 5. Is that not a tactical order? When in some states in Nigeria, the Christian fellowship was shut out, especially in Adamawa, it was shut out, and it was only Muslim organ that was allowed. And we are in the secular state. Yet we have a professor of law who is well read and with a seasoned minister of God. So Definitely, in my place, they said, if hand not let person carry, if hand not let person carry to the match like this, you put that hand for head. That is, if you are not, if you know you cannot, there are things you cannot do, you just stay away, because your name will be remembered for it forever. Forever. The church has been taken as a fool. Remember what is happening in Kaduna State now. It happened in Makarufi time. When the Christians took their stand, you remember a senator went for it. And from that day, that was why even the Muslim community, they call Makarufi, they say Pastor John. Because they knew that the man does not allow all this kind of thing that you see in Kaduna. They even call it Pastor John. The Christians took their stand. Because nobody should take anybody. There is no monopoly of violence. There is nobody that, oh, these people are violent by tribe, they are violent by blood. Or that if you slap somebody, you expect the person to cry, even if the person cannot slap you back. And if you slap a person and the person wait for you to slap him the second time, the person is a fool. In literature, they say, he who throw a pebble need a stone in return. Because all what they are doing now is a seed. And it has gotten to a level where the Christian cannot take it anymore. That we are here, we are in the secular state, so many things are happening. Today we have 26 security service chief and 24 are from one religion. And you are saying federal character. Did the president himself obey federal character? All the court judgment, did he obey federal character to make people to sit down in security council and speak only one language, and two men who are from other tribe who cannot hear what they are saying are put at bay. They are just watching. What would they do? So is that a secular state? Within the space of these 3 years, OIC has visited Nigeria more than 4 times. Okay. How much was used to host them? Are we a Muslim state? We are a secular state that everybody is allowed to practice their faith.
Bishop, let me pause here so that we don't digress. Reverend Philaroche, is this issue being unnecessarily politicized, as it were?
Oh, not at all. From the part of Khan, from the part of Christians, not at all. It has gotten to a point where we had no other option. The only option we have now is to speak and to defend ourselves. We're not going to take up arms against the government. It is people who don't want us to talk, the people who feel that they know all, the people who think that Mr. President is always right. For God's sake, he cannot always be right. They are the ones that are politicizing it. Former CAN chairman, Papayo Resojefo, he talked. He spoke up. He challenged the system. But they branded him all manner of names. Today the man is keeping quiet, and the seed that was sown then, when they shut him down, is the seed that everybody is reaping. Christians are not in fact, we are even being linear with the government. The things why you say as if Khan in Edo State is not taking action, because we know the heart of the governor, the heartbeat of the governor. We do not want to cause crisis or any political long jam in Edo State. We know what to do. We know how to take up things and then run the things. But we are considering the government, particularly in Edo State and those around. The people who are politicizing this issue are those who think that they know it all. They are those who think we shouldn't talk. They are those that anything we say, they take it out of context and say, in fact, they will say corruption is fighting back. That we have been corrupted, we have been compromised, corruption is fighting back. But they are the ones that are corrupt. They are the ones that have taken the resource of the nation without accounting for it. They are the ones that are appropriating money without accounting for it, without going through the National Assembly. And when we talk, they say that we have been corrupted. People even call me politician Christian. And I say, until the day they cut off your head, and you are looking for someone to defend you, that's when you know that I'm not a politician Christian. Because we have to speak. If we don't speak, nobody will speak for us. Nigerians are tired of what the government is doing. He said that he didn't vote for Mr. President. He's not the only one. I didn't vote for him. And if his party gives him ticket in 2019, my friends in that party, I've told them, I won't vote for him. On the support of that man for 2019, count me out. I will not be there. That's a risk I'm taking on national TV. I won't be there. A risk that will take me to 2033 if he wins, but I will not. He may get there, but minus my vote and the 6 persons in my house that vote, my wife and my 4 children that vote, and then minus the members of our church that I control, and then the people in the body of Christ that I influence. It won't get there, because what is happening does not call for that Nigerians should give him a second term. I tell you this. Only yesterday, one of his spokesmen, Shehu Garba, issued a statement from Katsina and said, Mr. President wants to go for second term to serve Nigerians. Is it by force to serve us? that he doesn't want any personal thing. If you don't want any personal thing, you have been head of state, you have been president for 4 years, please rest. Nigerians cannot decide who should serve them. And let me use this opportunity to advise the APC. It's very important because we have Christians, believers, born again, tongue talking, who are members of the APC across the nation. Like he mentioned, the vice president is a member of the APC. What we are seeing from the Congress they started yesterday is not encouraging us. The primaries that was aborted in Ekiti, that was on national TV, that's not the alternative that Nigerians are looking for to the PDP. Because what has happened, both in Rivers, even in Delta here, where somebody was killed because of what Congress, that's not the change we wanted. That's not the change Nigerians are looking forward to. I'm speaking this on behalf of believers who are in all these political parties. Please, APC, if you want Nigerians to trust you and entrust you with power, give us the best of candidates. Okay. It's even on the papers today. Yeah. I don't know whether it was on this TV station along, that even the APC national chairman back under the World Congress. Yeah. Does that speak of good things? That a whole national chairman will boycott the World Congress of a party that is national chairman? They should give Nigerians hope. They promise us change. I think we need a better change, not this one.
All right, Bishop Austin Igbasan, final words from you.
My take is that let no one take Christian for granted and think that Christians are fool. We are not fool, and we are only following biblical injunction. And our humility should not be taken as timidity. And even our right, and I thank God that the former SGF also said it in Adamawa State, that with this is the slot of Christian, even from the north. So every slot that is needed to be given to Christian should be given to Christians so that we can have fair representation.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time with us today. Always a delight to have you both here on TMI and several of our current affairs programs on television. It's the TMI Monday. I've been speaking with the state chairman of the youth wing of CAN, Reverend Phil Aroji. He's also the senior pastor, Day Spring Gospel Church. And I'd like to thank Bishop Austin Igbasan, a regular on our show. He's also the senior pastor of Sword of Liberation Bible Church. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll take a short break and then we will talk more about the just concluded World Congresses of the APC. Reverend Phil Aroji launched us into that. Well, that's why he's a man of God, launching people forward. We'll be back with this shortly after this timeout. Don't go away.